All right, everybody, welcome to the launch of the Remote Online Notary Network. I'm so excited to see everybody here today. I know that there are people still logging in. We had over 800 registrants, currently 259 logged in, and the number keeps going up there. So I want to get us started early on today. We have a lot of ground to cover. My name is Ronnie Mickle. Some of you may know me from Notary Stars, Unlimited Ink Notary. I'm joined by Amy Curtis, who a lot of you know from Notary Stars or Cyberize It. Today, we're going to be presenting to you a preferred RON platform and the Remote Online Notary Network. I want to get started by asking all of you a question. If you don't mind, I would like a little bit of interaction here if you're able to get to the chat. Well, first, let me ask you, since we are all remote online notaries, okay, we get the option of putting on a Zoom filter here. I always joke with people and say, if you met me in real life, I will look like this. So we are remote online notaries. So I want to see those faces on the camera today. I want to see everybody that can possibly make it, unless you're driving a car. Let's go ahead and practice. We got the filter of the Zoom filter in front of us. So let's get those cameras turned on. Let's be front facing. Let's learn a lot today. Now, let me ask you a couple of questions before we get started. I'm going to turn it over to Amy to help start this presentation. First of all, how many of you are just kind of tired like of the hype of Ron? Like you look at it, you think this is great, but then it seems to be a dead end for you. Some of you, okay, so not me. Okay, there we go. Yes. All right. So there are people out there that are just starting to learn about Ron and what we can do with it. How many of you find that the platforms that you work with don't offer you enough support? Let's see that in the chat. Do you feel that you're not getting enough support? Okay. Yeah, well, the chat's really blowing up for that one. And that's true. A lot of remote online notary platforms are not giving enough support to us as remote online notaries. How many of you feel that there could be a better way to do things in the remote online notary world? I'm seeing the chat go blowing up for that too. All right. We're going to try to fix some of these problems today for you. So let me tell you why I feel so passionately about this, and I'm going to turn it right over to Amy. I personally, owning Unlimited Ink Notary, a nationwide signing service, find it incredibly hard to find a remote online notary when I need one. There's a lot of nuances when it comes to finding a notary. SnapDocs, signing orders, ZigSig have not anteed up when it comes to helping title companies, signing services, or customers find a remote online notary. In fact, there's just a tick box that says remote online notary. But we all know, can it be a notary through KBA? Can it be a notary through biometrics? Can it be a notary from a certain state? There's a lot of little nuances. Those little filters bring down problems when locating a notary. It becomes kind of like a head scratcher. The second problem that I feel that is happening in the remote online notary industry is big tech, guys. Big tech is taking your business, and I'm going to be very loud and upfront about that tonight. I'm going to actually show you that you can take back your business. I am personally offended, okay, and I hope that you will be too, that there are big tech companies offering signings to title companies for $100, $150, and paying the notary $15. It's absolutely sickening to our stomach, and we're going to fix that today. We're going to go to battle with big tech today, and we're going to teach you exactly how I've been able to do it. I'm going to give you the tools that you need. And the other thing that I find completely offensive is that we're offered remote online notary platforms, but when we invite the customer in, we're inviting the customer in to become the customer of the remote online notary platform. It's not your customer anymore. You invite that customer to create an account on that platform, which allows them to remarket to your customer. That's not fair. You don't want to lose your customers. They need to stay your customers. We are going to fix this today, and we're going to ask you to fight. We're going to ask you to become a part of the remote online notary network, become the owner of your business, the owner of your client information, and fight against big tech. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's going to be a lot easier than you ever expected. Amy, I'm going to turn it over to you so that you can get started telling us about the first preferred remote online notary platform and what it has to offer for the remote online notary network.
Well, I am super stoked. I just got done getting the demo all together and it is phenomenal. It offers all kinds of different tips and tricks. And I am going to share my screen, not my sound. So this is a fast forward demo, but this system offered through Pro Notary, I don't know if anyone caught the name of it. It has the ability for you to set up the session. You upload your PDF documents. It does have to be a PDF. So that is one caveat. So you'll have to make sure you convert your Word and your images to a PDF. You put your client information in, and I've tried to void out any private information in here. So you'll see our logo pop up once in a while. You create the copy link and send it to your signer for ID verification. And they will now go through KBA, ID credential analysis, or if they want to, they can actually hit a button that says skip this and I'll do it in the session. So if you're in a state that you can use biometric verification, I would tell the signer to do that, because then you could just do biometrics and you don't have to worry about that annoying KBA, because I hate the KBA questions. So she was going through there on this one. See if I can speed it up a little bit here. All right, so there she passed her KBA, and you can see that in the system. Sorry, I had to throw this together on the fly. Try to get back here in the list. So you can monitor your signer's progress. And she's now doing her ID upload. There we go. So she won't be able to join the video session until she actually finishes her ID upload, but you can see you can move around within the system as you're going, monitoring. You could add clients to the session, even though it's already started. You could add another signer right now. And now I'm tagging the document, waiting on her to upload her ID. It literally is click the tag and click it on the page. And then you can modify the size and everything. You simply switch between the signers. And there she passed. Now she's going to join in on the video. I'm going to finish tagging this out. Another thing that's really cool, and I didn't demonstrate this on here because I was moving pretty quickly. You can put a text box on this screen. Click a little button at the bottom of the text box and you can save that custom text. So you can put whatever you want in there. You could put your commission expiration date. You could put your own phrasing for the online session. So if you don't want to use the default that's in there for you, and all you've got to do is click it from your saved tags and it goes right on the page. You don't have to type it over and over and over again. Now, I did not get a chance to do a demo of the templates, but you can create a template for a single session. So you can tag the document ahead of time and it's already set up. Or you can create a template that you can use on multiple sessions. So let's say you're doing a copy certification by document custodian and you always use the same form. You can use those same tags over and over and over again. So you don't have to go and re-tag it every single time. So on her screen, she's seeing the same thing that she sees the document, but she sees the mouse moving like this. So I have to give her permission to sign. So she can't sign until I tell her to. Up in the top, this is really cool. You can hit start video. You have to hit start video at the beginning, but in states like Missouri, they want you to record the screen share. But in states in Idaho, it's illegal to record the screen share. So you have the option to record the screen share or not to record the screen share. And it's entirely in the notary's control. But the best part about this is, you guys, this isn't going to be marketed by you as a pro notary platform. This is going to be your platform, completely white labeled. All the URLs are going to be your URLs. All of the emails are going to be at ronservice.com. There's no pro notary network. There's no remote online notary network. All of the branding is going to be you. It's going to look like you created this software. You're going to own it. Your clients are going to keep coming back to it because they're not going to know of any big brand software to go to. And when they log into that client account, it is tied to you and only you, because you're the only notary on that software. I mean, that's phenomenal in my book. That, when I first started doing this, and you'll mind me, I was clicking all around in there. I created my platform because big box companies were stealing my clients. And so now I'm able to help you get that white label experience by collaborating with Pro Notary and Remote Online Notary Network. We're bringing you something that no other software can offer you right now, at least not without paying some big bucks. All right, I know you can get some white labeled at other places, but you're going to be into that for thousands and thousands of dollars. This is not going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. And trust me, I know I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on a Ron platform. You can download your journal information. You can download the videos separately. One has the talking faces, one has the screen share. You can download the document. Another thing is you can bill the client inside or outside of the platform, and you can create that invoice before the session starts, or you can create it after the session starts. And you get to control whether the client can download the documents at the end, all when you're setting up the session. So I think I hit some really big points there, and I talked really fast because my demo was going pretty fast. So let me stop screen share. Let me look at these chats. Let's see here.
And Amy, while we're going through that, I would like to encourage anybody that would like to raise their hand. Now, there's going to be a second part to this presentation today because I know the biggest question is going to be how are we going to get business, and we're going to go over that. But
Yeah.
Amy, while we're combing that, I'd like to invite anybody that would like to raise their hand virtually as well. You just go down to the bottom of the chat there, and there's a little button that says raise hand. You can raise your hand to get in queue, and we can answer some questions before we move on to the second part of the presentation today.
One real quick question. Can I cover one real quick? Jason asked, why would we not just use the Pro Notary platform? And we didn't tell them why they want to connect through us, Ronnie. We actually were able to negotiate a deal with Pro Notary. Let me pull up if you go to the join page, let's see here. I'm actually going to pull one up in the back end. We negotiated a deal with Pro Notary so that we can offer you exclusivity. So on this system through us, you're only going to pay $29 a month instead of $59. So you're going to save $30 a month. And the fees for the session, the transaction fees, are only $5 per signer. You get unlimited notary acts. You can upload the maximum amount of documents on there, but you're only going to pay $5 per signer. So that means a one stamp document, if you're in a state you're only able to charge $10, you're still going to walk away with $5. If you're in a state where you can charge other fees, you're going to be able to add to that value. You're not going to get charged for time. You're not getting an extra charge for KBA. You're not getting an extra charge for biometrics. You're not getting an extra charge for storage. You're not getting an extra charge if your video goes over 30 minutes. And you're not getting an extra charge for every single notarization you do on that session. $5, it's flat fee. You will be able to structure your pricing so that you get a good return on your investment. You can get up to 6 people in there. You get a free e-stamp. Your IdenTrust certificate will work with this platform. It's MISMO approved, and we're working to get it approved in other states, and we're going to work on fidelity too. And I really have to say it had to be something really special for me to jump ship. Come on, that's saying a lot. All right, we'll go with the hands.
Well, Amy, one other thing I want to add is that in addition to us offering level 1 support for the platform through the Remote Online Notary Network, we also have created the training videos, or you've so graciously created those training videos to help get notaries onboarded. But in addition to that, they get access to your live classes on Friday for remote online notaries, which are helping remote online notaries face those big challenges that they can occur when running a business as a remote online notary. Let's go to our first question up there. We have Heather. Heather, when you are ready, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hi, how are you? All right, I have two quick questions. The first one is, do we have the ability to make it so that the clients always have to join the session before they do the KBA and ID verification. And then my second is,
Okay.
well, I go ahead and answer that now.
Okay, so the answer to that is not yet, but if you provide valid communication with them and you just tell them, hey, listen, that ID verification is a pain, just hit skip and then I'll help you get through it. That's all you got to tell them. Every single client's going to do that every single time.
Okay, great. And then my second question is, in Michigan, where we're only allowed to charge $10 and no extra fees for Ron, I've been, I mean, getting around it, so to speak, because Blue Notary charges the client, not me. But if we're white labeling this, I can only charge $10. Am I clear that that's what's happening?
Well, I'm going to go on the record and say I am not an attorney. So how you decipher the law may not be how I decipher the law, and I cannot give you legal advice. I will say it is a transaction through your Stripe account, not the platform. So the platform's not even going to take a fee for the transfer or the invoicing of the system. You're just going to pay the processing fee through Stripe.
Got it.
But it'll go immediately into your account. So you don't have to wait for a certain level of money of transactional fees. You know, like I know on my platform, you had to wait until you have $25 before you could pull that money out. This is going to go into your account, whether you charge $2 or you charge $500, it goes straight to you. It doesn't go through a third party.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for answering those questions. That helps.
And Heather, I just like to throw 2 cents on that. So you may ask sometimes how signing services or larger companies are able to charge more fees when a notary cannot. When you set up a company and you assign a notary, and if you're an employee or a contractor for that company, there may be a workaround for you in order to set that up. But again, I'm not an attorney nor am I practicing legal advice, but Unlimited Inc., we do charge higher fees and we do tack on scheduling fees and all those sorts of things when we're charging, whereas we can charge more than a mobile notary in some states. We're able to get a higher fee, and then if we contract out to that notary, but we are a management service. So structuring your business that way could be very helpful to you. All right, our next question up is from Adina.
Hi, everyone. I just had a question in regards to me being in the state of Alabama, and the only reason why I'm attending this because Alabama doesn't do Ron per se, but I was working with a company and made quite a bit of money basically doing Ron for other states that didn't have any restrictions on, you know, where the notary was, Ron certified. So I just want to know, how would this be beneficial for me? Of course, being that Alabama is not one of those Ron states.
You have what's called remote ink notarization, and we aren't rolling that out just yet, but it is something that we will be rolling out soon. However, if you wanted to join the Remote Online Notary Network and learn about remote online notarization, you would be able to become what we call a facilitator with Ron sessions. So as you build out, which Ronnie's about to talk about this, there's another aspect we ain't talked about yet, people. There's another way that you are going to be able to advance in your marketing campaign right now in order to build your business so that when Alabama does get it, you would be able to facilitate and take over the clientele that you've built already. I will tell you with my system, Jeff out of Acme Services out of California was facilitating Ron transactions, and he was sending work out all across the nation so that when Ron gets legal in California, he's already going to have that client base. But Adina, also keep in mind, remote ink notarization, there's so few states that can do it. You would be really wise to get onto this aspect just so that we can start marketing you in that instance. And added to the fact that you don't have to do KBA in Alabama. You just got to have the ID. You have 2 IDs. That makes it a lot easier.
It does, and that sounds great. So do you all know about Blend? Because that was the company that I was doing the remote online notarizations for, such as for like Arizona and other states where there wasn't any restrictions on, the notary being remote online certified or whatever it's called. Did you all, because you all are a big, platform, so I kind of figured you all would know about that company.
I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've not used their interface yet, but it is something I'll definitely look into. But yeah, I mean, and it's very common for companies to search out individual notaries. I tell everyone you all have a superpower in every state, and every state's different. So, you know, you find something that elevates your superpower because that's what's going to make you stand out.
All right, Amy, we're going to take a few more questions. And guys, if we don't get to you in this section, please leave your hand up. We may get your question answered, but we got two parts to the presentation today. We want to make sure we get through all of that, but we want to answer as much as we can as we go. Miss Beth, when you are ready, you can unmute and ask your question. Beth McGee.
Yep, I see you. Thank you.
There you go.
I have two quick questions. One is, will you have an exemplar tool inside the platform? Right now, some of them have a tool where we can create our exemplar just to send to the state, and New York is one that requires that. And the second question is, I need clarification. You said $5 per signer. Is that $5 per signature notarized and like stamp on it, or is it $5 per signer that enters the session and that's it?
Okay, so
Thank you.
yes, you get the exemplar, and as soon as you can't even not download the exemplar. As soon as you create your notary profile, it is right there. It's one button and it's available. So that is all there, and you get the e-stamp for free. So the only thing you have to purchase outside of that is the IdenTrust digital certificate, and
Yep.
usually everyone's got that. And if you got the one from the NNA, it is from the IdenTrust too. Same company, they just resell it. Two, it is a flat fee. Beth, you're not going to get nickel and dimed. One signer, $5. You can notarize their signature 500 times, and you can charge whatever you want for that. You are only going to pay the platform $5 for that session.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's get our next question up from Mark Miller out of Ocala, Florida. We got two Ocala people right side by side. Mark, you're first.
And I'm actually not in Ocala today. I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
All right.
So, question is, am I able to bring in my own witnesses? And do I have to pay a $5 fee for them to be a witness then? It's the
That would
first
be
question.
correct. Yes, so you would
Okay,
add
that is
them as a
correct.
signer, and they would count in the total 6 signers that you can utilize. So 6 people plus you in a session.
Okay.
And you would pay the $5 for each one. And that would go, even if you're in a state using a credible witness, you would have to pay the $5 for the credible witness. But you can utilize credible witness and personally known on this platform too.
Okay. And the IdenTrust that you're talking about, is that the same thing I just got done doing for Cyberize it? And I didn't get completely joined. I went through and got my seal or whatever you called it.
Did you get
from
it
the
from
Italian
Intest?
company?
No, it's a different one. Yeah,
Okay.
they can't work with the cloud signature yet. I haven't
All
talked
right.
to them about that yet.
Okay. So $5 per signature, whether it's witness or not. I can bring in my own witnesses, and I can have them skip KBA or biometrics if I already know them, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's a
All right.
button right at the bottom. It just says skip this step and do it in session, and then you don't even have to do it if you don't need to.
All right. And is Florida ready for us to start running on this?
I've been using it for 6 weeks, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That.
Yeah.
And is it called Florida, the Remote Online Notary Network then, or is it got another name for us to list
No,
on
when
our?
when you list it on the state, you're going to put that you're utilizing Pro Notary because that's the RON
Okay.
platform that's running the background, and you would actually be using, well, like Mark, what's your company name? MDM Notary Services. So yours would be MDM Notary Services powered by Pro Notary. Get it?
Gotcha. Thank you. And I'm looking
Uh-huh.
forward to learning how to sign up. I know that's coming up. So,
By the way, Amy, I just want to put in 2 cents on the cost of a witness. So, if you're not aware, you can charge your signer more for the cost of the witness. So you can, if you're, using a family member or that sort of thing, You can charge more, and you're not notarizing for the witness most of the time, so you can charge a fee for that. At Unlimited Ink, I believe we charge $25 for the witness, and then try to pass that along to the notary that's acting as the witness. But you can build up a network of notaries, pay them $10, keep $10 for yourself, and run up that bill that way. So it's all about how you spend things and how you want to charge things. But explain to a signer that, like, hey, I only work with notaries, and I'm going to have to pay a notary to attend the session if I bring the witness for you. Or if they're bringing their own witness, you can just charge them the $5. So you can give them the option of, you provide your own witness and it'll only be $5 for them to enter the session, or I can provide it for you and that'll cost $25 because it's going to be another body that I have to pull into that session for you and facilitate it. So you can make your own prices on that side. Amy, I'm going to take one more question here, and then we're going to just go into the second part of the presentation just to make sure we kind of keep this to an hour. Nancy, when you're ready, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, I'm kind of in the same area as Mark there where witnesses are concerned. I don't really have a pool of notaries that I can use as witnesses right now. Will there be like I can pull somebody through the platform?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
I want to show you real quick. So as you get listed on here, say you want to hire a Ron notary, you can actually say, I want someone that will serve as a witness on our search engine. And you can narrow it down and find the Ron notaries willing to be a witness on your session. And you can connect right to them with a phone or an email.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. I want to take a moment of your time. And now, everybody that's got their hand raised, please leave your hands raised. We definitely want to answer your questions today. I know I have a lot of my marketing students here from Notary Stars, but I want to get started with you today talking about how the biggest question in my mind after we get through somebody stealing our business, not paying us what we're worth, is how do I get customers? That's a big question, is like, how do I draw in customers? So I started looking at some of our biggest competitors, and I'm going to share my screen in just a moment, just to kind of show you how this works. Let's see. So I'm going to pull up Notarized and kind of show you how this works. I'm sure that some of you have seen Notarized in your backyard, advertising and pulling in customers. And it's not just Notarized. There's a couple of other big tech companies. So Amy, can you see my screen here? Just making sure. I can see Amber Bacon.
Yes.
Can you see my screen? Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So you're looking at a page for Notarized right here in Phoenix, Arizona, but I want you to watch how this works. This is what we call a dynamic website. That means that they built one page for the state of Arizona, and then that one page goes into every single city in the state of Arizona, attracting your customers. So if you are in Mesa, Arizona, if you are in Flagstaff, Arizona, if you are anywhere in the state of Arizona, watch what happens when I just change this link here to the word Mesa. Uh-oh, now they're in Mesa, Arizona. What happens when I change it to Scottsdale? Oh God, they're everywhere, right? How do you compete with a company that's everywhere? Well, we have a solution for that. I got so ticked off that these big tech companies are advertising, and God bless them. I mean, remote online notary means we can all work on that anywhere we want to. But they're advertising everywhere, and they're taking our business and farming it to states where they can only charge $5. They're taking $25. So the notary's getting $5 to sit there and click like a notary farm when they should be getting a lot more than that. And sometimes they're taking it from Arizona and giving it to a Virginia notary. They're taking it from California and giving it to a New Jersey notary. You guys should be really upset about this. They're sending out advertisements. I think that they said that they just hit 4 million notarizations. So that means they took 4 million of our notarizations, and that might be I don't want to get sued. Maybe let's just say 1 to 4. Even if it was 1 million or 4 million notarizations, they're advertising this on Facebook now, like, come, join our platform. They're really getting aggressive. And we have to fight back about this. So how do we fight back on a dynamic website? We don't have tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars to develop websites. Well, we got you. I'm going to show you what my website that I launched on, let's see, this is part of the Notary Challenge. We started out on the 10th of June. That was day 17 of what we call the Notary Challenge to customize a website. I've been doing this website in front of all of the students at Notary Stars, and now it's available for the students or the members of the Remote Online Notary Network. You simply become a member at the Pioneer level, and you're able to get the template. And I'm going to show you very easily how easy this is. Within 17 days, I was able to get 30,644 remote online notary pages indexed throughout America, meaning that this website is now competing with Notarized. I know that Alon Daniels, who I'll just ask to unmute for just a second, she's on here. She's actually one of my students. And Alon, what's that wonderful text message that you sent me one morning? What was that beautiful text message that I was so happy to see?
Oh, when I beat out Notarized
Yeah.
on my, yes, yeah.
So Alana is able to see her website ranking higher in the search rankings than Notarize. Now, I know a lot of you are so scared, like, oh God, I don't know how to build a website. Well, I just want to preface this before we get going so that you guys understand. I own Unlimited Ink Notary, and I fought tooth and nail to make a multi-million-dollar company out of Unlimited Ink Notary. I've had to be extremely competitive. Over the last 15 years, I've been able to build my own websites. And if you go to Unlimited Ink, it's not the prettiest site in the world, but that thing gets found. And I started building websites for friends on Wix.com. And eventually, Wix tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, you're actually really good at this. Would you like to take our training? And it's free. So I started training and I started building more and more and more websites. Well, with the beginning of Notarized, and I was charging notaries, $400 or $500 to build their websites. Then it moved to $1,200, and then it got too expensive to really work with me. And I thought there has to be a better way. The last seminar that I did, I think I was for 3 hours of my time, I was selling out, pretty instantly, making $10,000 for 3 hours. And in the middle of the seminar, I realized I could create one template for everybody. And I spent my entire December break, and my students were my guinea pigs. And I built what is now the ultimate notary website template. And I'm going to give you a little share of what this looks like. Now, this is the website that I've actually customized for in the challenge. They're all going to look very similar, but the way that they operate are going to be completely different. Here is what the basic template looks like. And if you can do things like click and change colors, you can customize this website very easily. All you have to do is come in, and now, you're all going to have to do some work on this. There are exactly about 65 pages, so that's 50 states that you would be able to customize in all of your service locations. So you can actually create one page that would go into every zip code that you service. But on the state level, it goes into every zip code in that state. Now, this is one page here, and you'll notice in the editor here that it's already got them in here for you. Every single zip code in the state of Alabama, every single zip code in the state of California, every single zip code in the state of Arizona is already loaded into this, and it dynamically changes. All you're doing is going in and customizing this template in order to make it for your business. This is what we call a dynamic website. And how this works is this text on this screen is connected to something called a CMS, or a content manager. And you can see you have all of your content here. And when we go in for Alabama, we are able to pull all of the zip codes and states and how it should be presented on your screen, including keywords, into that spreadsheet. So if you find an area in your local area that you want to start marketing to, a neighborhood or those things, in your local service areas, you can add this in. You can also add in hospitals, jails. We have apostille locations that we teach you how to do. And it takes you about 30 challenge videos, which range from about 10 minutes to some of them going up to 45, not all of them. Some of them are up to about 10 minutes. And within 17 days of filming those, I was able to get this website into 30,000 pages indexed. Now, one of the things that you might be asking is like, how would I get to these classes? It's already in the Remote Online Notary Network for you in the Ron Notary Lounge on the Pioneer level. You would be able to access this tab here, which gives you access to requesting your template, understanding the search engine principles or SEO principles for notaries, and then you would start the 30-day challenge to get your website launched. That's not all, guys. So I know that it's a little hard. So for the Remote Online Notary Network, I'm now opening up my classes for you guys to attend live with me so that you are able to ask questions about your templates, get assistance in real time. I know I have a lot of students here that'll tell you as long as you come to class, I will make time for those questions. So I will be there to support you while you're getting your templates created. It's not hard, but it does take some time. I'm not going to tell you that there's not work involved. There are 30 days of challenges, but within about 17 days, you can connect. Next question I know that's going to come here, and I want to go back to questions from the audience here, is how much does it cost? Well, it's included in your membership. Customization is absolutely free. You request the template, you will never pay $1 for it unless you want to buy it and own it, and you can walk away from the Remote Online Notary Network, and there will be a buyout price. That buyout price varies based on demand. Currently, my marketing students are buying it out at $499 if they want to leave the marketing class. And I'm going to give you the same guarantee that I've given all my notaries. I don't want $49.95 from you for the rest of your life. I hope you'll stay at the $9.99 level if you don't need me anymore. My goal is to teach you self-sufficiency. My goal is to create a job that for myself when I get ready to retire. I've been doing this for a extremely long time. I don't want to continue to compete with all of you, and I don't want you all to get ran over when I decide to walk away. This is a key for you to take control of your remote online notary business. This is exactly how I did it as a multi-million-dollar notary company. And I'm so sick of all these people teaching marketing out there and they can't offer you something like this. This is a Ferrari vehicle. You can take your business from 0 to 60 very quickly and advertise. Now, is it going to happen overnight? No. Will there be maintenance to do on the website? Absolutely. But with a very little time with me at the marketing classes and through the challenges, you will be able to understand how the internet works and take control of your business. And I'm going to use this one example here out of one of my students. If you think that you can't do this, and I don't know if he's here today or not, but I'm going to type in and see. He's not here today. Butch, one of our students, he is 70 plus years old. Okay. He sat down and decided, I'm going to do this. And Butch is kicking my rear end on the internet because he has more time to work on his website, teaching the classes, than I do managing Unlimited Ink, Notary Stars, helping with the Remote Online Notary Network, and running an outside advertising firm. So he's actually starting to kick my rear end in the internet search rankings. So Butch had no prior experience as a notary, no prior experience working with websites. He simply deployed a template and started clicking and making things happen. And before you know it, Butch is out there working. Anybody can do this. And I've always said this, and I'm going to turn it back over to you guys' questions. I am not the brightest light on the Christmas tree. I just happen to light up. And if I can do it, anybody out there can do it. So now I want to go back to questions that we had held up there, Amy, if that's okay with you. All right. Miss Cookie, when you are ready.
Just one question. How many signers can we have at once on the platform?
6, but that
6.
includes witnesses. So
Okay.
6 total, including witnesses. But keep in mind, you pay flat fee, so you could sign with 4 with 2 witnesses download the documents and do it again with another 4 with 2 witnesses in a different session. So it's not going to add up. You're still going to get charged the same fee no matter if it's 1 or 2 sessions.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
And Ronnie, before we ask Edie let her have her question, I got a text message and they are so happy to see the responses you guys are doing in here. There was a comment asking about practicing on the platform, and we haven't perfected that yet. So right now there is quote unquote a fee, but what they've said is for the first 30 days, no transaction fees.
Whoa!
Unlimited transactions, no fees for 30 days so that you can learn the platform. How awesome is that?
Love it. Love it, Amy. I love getting support like that, guys. This is what committing to a turnout like this evolves. Like that just came about. We didn't plan that.
Yeah.
Now let's get to Miss Edie. Now, before you ask your question, I just got to tell everybody my history with you. If you guys don't know, part of my growth at Unlimited Inc. and the company Notary Stars that I both work at is due to Edie. I love working with you. And she is also so helpful to so many notaries out there. So I'm so happy to see you here today. And she's really one of the true pioneers of remote online notary, guys. So whatever she's about to ask, I know will be a great question. Edie, when you're ready.
I actually have a couple, more than a couple. Sorry. So as far as the membership, can we pay that annually or does it need to be monthly?
Amy, when you're ready.
Are you ready? Are we ready to do that one? Okay, so
Go ahead and do that.
You can do it monthly or annually.
Okay.
I wrote down the code, but now I forgot it. And we talked about having a promotion for the first 100 notaries who do this. But if you use the code Ron Launch, I'm putting it in the chat, on your annual subscription, you will save a ton of money. It'll go down to what it was 25 or 30% off, Ronnie. I forget. We just gave them a whole bunch of money off, is all I.
It's $200 off for an annual.
There you go.
I know that. Whatever that percentage works out to.
So the first 100 can use that code. Mark Miller is having an issue with his account, Ronnie. So I'm going to go on the limb here and say I'm going to honor that for him if he's outside of the 100.
Okay. I don't think, did we lock it at 100?
I did. Should I edit that?
We can. If we got that many people signing up all at one time, yes. I'm just putting it in to see if I'm having an issue with it. So it's actually still available. So I'm seeing it take that $200 off. It has to be done on the annual membership. That may be the problem. So that code is only available for annual. Mark, are you trying for annual?
No, he has an issue with his email address.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Edie, do you still have more questions? You disappeared off.
Yeah. So as far as the white label portion is concerned, are there going to be additional fees to be able to do that? And do you also have classes that will actually teach us how to do the white labeling? So it's directed towards us itself.
I am working on putting that together right now, Edie. So here by probably Monday, it will be all online. It's actually really easy. You fill out one page and you connect your Stripe account by just taking the codes from Stripe. And it's done.
Is it only Stripe or can we do Square?
No, it is only Stripe, but you can sign up for the free Stripe business account. It
Okay.
won't charge you. And the price per transaction is exactly the same as Square. I have both.
Okay.
I want to tell you something. One of the biggest reasons that I love to use Stripe, guys, and I use it for everything, the more you use Stripe, they offer you what we call a business credit line, and they base it off of your use of Stripe. They don't base it off your credit. So if you ever needed to purchase a new printer or a new laptop, they just take that back for a fixed fee out of your processing. So, you know, an average notary would probably get a credit line of anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. I advise you not to use it unless you need it because we never want to use credit lines. But like $5,000, your flat fee is going to be around like $300 in order to borrow that kind of money from them. So as long as you are processing all of your business through them, and then what they'll do is they'll take out a few dollars of your future transaction sales in order to recoup that and give you like over a year to repay it back. So I found it, couple of years ago, we actually used it. Remember when the market just tanked and all the escrow officers got fired and we were waiting on all these payments from their managers? We actually used Stripe through Unlimited Inc. and was able to keep our payments going until we got everything caught up with all of the escrow officers. So it does have a lot of perks to use it. And then Edie, you got more questions there?
No, I think I'm good for now. I'm texting Amy.
Okay. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, we're going to move on to Amber Bacon, who is a force of nature up in the north part of Arizona there. She does a lot of transactions when we're lucky enough to get her. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, Ronnie. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
All right, so a couple of questions. There was some mention of credible witnesses, and other platforms have a restriction. You can only use that feature if it's a single signer. My question is, if you happen to know more than one signer in the same transaction, are you still able to click not credible witness, personally known, are you able to do that? Same with credible witness, I guess. If you have one credible witness that's able to swear to the identity of multiple signers, are we able to use that in that way?
Yeah. What happens is you just tell the people who don't have to validate to hit skip. And then for the people who do have to validate, you're in states that require KBA and ID credential analysis. So they'll go through those. And once you're in the session, unless you trigger that person to go through that skipped it, it isn't going to make them do anything. You'll document that they were done through a credible witness or that they were personally known at the end of the session. So you literally just tell them, just hit skip. It's really that simple.
Okay, so we have the power, even if we're in a state that requires KBA, we have the power to click that skip button, because I know other platforms don't allow that. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. My other question, you had mentioned if there's more than those 6 signers, that you're able to download the document and then re-upload it and continue signing it. Is that something we can do with a notarized document? Doesn't the digital signature seal that document and lock it?
It does, but you're just relocking it again. It's going to have the same digital certificate at the end of the day.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. I've just never tried to re-notarize a document that has already been notarized. So it seemed like it wasn't something that could be done, because that was the whole point of locking it with the certificate. But I guess, okay.
Well, you would technically have 2 originals at that point, but it's just like a split signing, so you would have the first original and a second original. But
so you wouldn't upload the document that you notarized that first session. You would upload a second original and just notarize the signatures that are remaining. Is that how that would work?
I would upload the document that you did notarize in the first session, but I'm saying you would have the first notarized document as the first original, and then you would have the second notarized document as the second original, because it's got more signatures.
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate it.
That sounds like a good class, huh?
It does. All right. Good to know. Thank you.
By the way, I just want to say one thing to you, Amber, before you go. I have noticed your voice getting a lot stronger with helping notaries throughout the community, and I just want to say I love seeing that you're helping other notaries, that you're offering yourself out there to share what you know. We always have that saying at Notary Stars: when you get to where you're going, reach back and take somebody along with you. And I definitely see your voice growing in the community, and I'm just so proud to see that, because I've worked with you and I know that you're a great notary. So when I see you reaching out, helping other notaries, it just warms my heart that somebody I know that does a good job is willing to turn around and reach back and take somebody along with them. So thank you so much for sharing your growth with others, put it that way.
And thank you. I appreciate that. And my thoughts on it is I figured a lot of it out on my own. I've been doing this a long time, over 10 years. And in the beginning, it was a lot of work my way through because our state wasn't very clear on what we could and couldn't do or how we should do something. And now I'm running into where I'm correcting things for other notaries that may not have done it right, or I see things that no, that's not quite right. So I try to chime in where I can, where I know for sure. Like if I'm not sure, I do refer them, but I do appreciate that recognition, and I appreciate all the help that you provide in these meetings.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, we've got plenty of hands raised, guys. We're going to try to get to everybody. Grace Fuller out of Texas, when you are ready.
You know what? Can you hear me?
All right, Susan.
Amy and everybody else. What I've got two questions. What about as far as observers, like if an attorney or escrow wants to sit in on the session, do we just log them in just like we would a witness?
Yeah, right now you would have to do that. I have some creative ideas, but I don't really want to like say them on here. But that is something I could talk to them about. Maybe we could see about a future development of that. But for now, you would have to log them in and you would get charged the $5 for that.
Okay, perfect. And my next question is, when we have a witness, can they leave the session when their job is done? Because I typically, like when I use Blue Notary, I don't bring the witness in until we actually need them, if there are a lot of pages to go through first, because I don't like them to see people's personal information. So are we able to just have the witness do their jobs and notarize the or witness the documents that need witnessing and then have them leave the session? Or do they
I'm
have
sitting here, I'm thinking, I'm processing the thought process of the flow. I believe you would be able to go through and get the client all dealt with. And then once they join, then you hit the record button and then you do the signing of it, the documents themselves. If you're already doing the signing, you would hit the record button ahead of time. And then they would be able to leave. I'm not thinking that that's
I'm not sure
that they be there the whole time.
Record button, because aren't we recording the whole thing?
Well, depending, again, it's going to be customized based on how you're handling your client. If you're bringing them in and you're signing and notarizing and then just doing the witness documents when the witness comes in, yes, you want to record the whole thing. If you're just going through all of it and then you're just going to let them sign after the witness gets there, then you would just not hit the record button until you're ready to actually do it, So.
Okay. All right. And I sent you a message on the chat that I'm having a problem checking out. It gives
that's what Ronnie's checking on right now.
Okay. It doesn't say anything to do with my email. It's something about monthly versus yearly or something.
So what's the problem, Miss Susan?
It is telling me when I try to complete the checkout, it says when I click on the yellow checkout button, it tells me the promotion code you entered has been applied to your cart, but no items qualify for the discount. The promotion may only apply to either the monthly or yearly billing cycle.
Okay, and did you select annual?
No.
So you have to select the annual for it to be applied.
Okay, so it's not $29 a month if we do it monthly?
So the Ron platform is an additional purchase. So you're getting the website on that one. So you can go through the Explorer. Let's actually probably share the screen here and go over that so everybody's kind of clear on that. So we have 2 membership levels for you, which are Pioneer. This is where you're going to be able to apply that discount code that we provided you. And then we have the Explorer. The Explorer here allows you to be listed on the site. It does not give you access to the website template or to be able to build it. This would be just listed in the directory. This is what you're looking for. Now, both of these, you can get your discount by signing up, but this is going to be the only membership level that you're able to apply that coupon code to. So you would have You would have to do it on that level at the annual membership. Okay.
Okay. All
So this
right.
would be the Pioneer account. This is going to give you access to the website template, all of those things, Amy's classes, but both get access to the discount at Pro Notary. So once you become a member of the site, you get that discount for Pro.
Okay. Because I'm already a member on the site.
Mhm. So
Okay.
if you're already a member on the site, then you are grandfathered into your current pricing. So you can still get your promo code and we'll send out that promo code to existing members.
Okay. Okay. So then I can't sign on for the Pro Notary just yet then.
Yes, you can. It'll be in your journey and we're going to send out an email to existing members after so that they can get that.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, Nancy, are you ready now?
Okay, let's go in. Amy, I'm gonna put myself on mute so I can identify what these problems are with the email addresses.
Perfect. Thank you. Nancy, I still can't hear you. Maybe click on the ampersand next to the microphone and see if it's connected. Like I have different things.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Okay. I changed it in the system settings. I had to change it on here too. Let's see. Okay. My main question is, and I love the idea of the website template and all that. Are more title companies and or lenders getting on board with Ron signings?
Well, obviously, the more information that we get out into the world, the more people will come and use it. The issue with title companies and doing online notarization aspect is that electronic signatures are not as valuable as ink signatures in the banking industry. I don't know if you've ever
Right.
heard that story, okay?
Yes,
So if
I
you
have.
go and if you know, I'm gonna phrase this so that everyone else knows. Actually, this is where I met Pro Notary at the electronic mortgage conference in North Carolina, like 3.5 years ago. I crashed one of their parties. Anyway, the presenter said, when you sign a loan and you sign it with ink, we're going to say that that's worth 70 cents on the dollar in the resale market. But when you sign a loan and you sign it with an electronic signature, that's only worth 45 cents a dollar on the resale market for the bank. So the banks are looking at this and they're like, well, just because we're using electronic signatures and it's easier, it makes it less money for me. So I really don't want to do it. But we have been working to get that, you know, the value has been added to it. There's industries that really want it to go, and we've seen an increase in them. It's just a matter of getting them to, you know, understand the value is being added and it's going to get there. It's just going to get there. We got to get more people involved, you know?
Right.
Amy, I don't mean to break in on this. I just want to let everybody know the issue should be resolved. So what the issue was is anybody that was a part of Cyberize it before, I believe that's where it was happening. We had imported you guys in just to be able to email you, and I think it's blocking you from signing up again. So I deleted all of those Cyberize it emails, and it seems to be most of the people I recognize from Cyberize it list. So I have deleted those. So you shouldn't have a problem now if you're a former Cyberize it signing up for today. I'm sorry to break in on that, but I do want to say one thing on that conversation, if it's okay. The when it comes to title and escrow, that is only a tip of the iceberg, and there's actually statistics from Notarized that they've put out how little they're actually making out of title and escrow business when it comes to remote online notarization. The world is your oyster when it comes to every single state has an advanced healthcare directive package that you can be using for remote online notarization. You can do it for other states now as well. I'm teaching this in my marketing class at the current moment. There's so much that you can do. We have a client at Unlimited Inc. that literally we just for cell phone towers, we do remote online notary for them where they purchase land from people to put a cell phone tower up and then they get a notarized contract from the people who are providing the land. So they have all this farmland and they want to put a tower up. They have to have a notarized contract on that land, and that company's out of Canada, and they're using U.S. notaries to notarize those contracts because they're using American soil to put up those towers. There is so much business available. I've been able to pull in people who are doing foreign cars where they sell the car and ship it to another country. There's a lot of cool things that are providing remote online notaries business outside of title and escrow. But one thing I'll tell you is we are really working hard. We're going to the largest conference in the entire country this year to bring the remote online notary network in front of title companies. So we're spending those big dollars that most notaries can't, not going as unlimited, not going as Notary Stars, not going just as a remote online notary network, but bringing education about where they can find these remote online notaries and how they should partner with them and where they should be looking for them. So we've got a lot of information going out into title companies this year, and the people that you're turning to as I call it, as in your investment in your education, you should be asking them. This is the time of accountability. When you watch those make six-figure videos and people are trying to teach you how much money you can make from Ron and they're dancing on TikTok, ask them what conference they're going to provide you money when you provide them money, because I know where your money when you invest in our platforms is going. I'll be at the largest conference in New York and I'll be putting that on Instagram. I'm not going to dance around like a monkey on TikTok and take your money and not do something amazing with it. So just make sure that the people that you invest in or the partnerships that you make as a remote online notary, that they're reinvesting that to drive business back into your pocket one way or another. Sorry, I get on a soapbox sometimes.
No, but Ronnie, if someone does have a question in the chat, as the hosting of the Wix website, when they do publish it, do you have an estimate on how much that is?
Absolutely. So you can buy your domain name. I always suggest to buy your domain name from GoDaddy. The second thing is the hosting of the Wix website for all of those zip codes in America is going to cost you about $40 a month. However, you can buy an annual or a multi-annual plan and save money. When you get up into adding other services, so if you're doing document translations and apostilles, it's gonna jump from $40 a month to $150 a month, but it's well worth it because you're gonna be bringing in that kind of business. You don't need that right away. That $40 a month plan will get you all the listings that you need. However, I don't want you to stop at just remote online notarization because there's so much you can do online now. And if you can sell remote online notary in every zip code in America, why not sell document translations? And if you sell document translations, why not sell apostilles? It gets kind of addictive.
It is. And one more quick update. I do not know if the person is in the live that's texting me, but they asked me a really good question and I'm going to say it in the live. So I got asked if I'm going to be a Florida Ron and a Tennessee Ron. Actually, I know who this is and she is in session today. Do I have to buy 2 logins to the system? And yes, you technically do to the Pro Notary platform, but you can do that in one checkout and you can tie your 2 notary profiles into your same enterprise. So your one white labeled platform you could use when your butt's in Florida, and then when you go up to Tennessee, you could use the other login as the other notary, and you would have access to all of the system and all of the branding universally amongst both states. So hopefully she's in here and I'll text it and make sure. John Neal. There we go.
All right. So I have a clarification question and then 2 more questions. So for those who are already marketing students, we would choose the Explorer and then we would get an email about the Pro Notary after that.
Correct. So if you're already one of my marketing students, you don't really need the Pioneer level because you already have access to your template. You're already ahead. You already customized. So you would just need the Explorer level.
Okay.
If you're already a marketing student at Notary Stars, then you already have access to everything that we're offering there and more. So you have access to me, to all of the training, everything. So you would only need the Explorer level.
And
Okay.
Ronnie, for those that bit the bullet and bought ahead of time because they were trying to get that promo code, if they're already a marketing student, we're gonna make that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And then oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just had my other two questions were for the training on this, is it going to be videos? Is it going to be like a manual? Is this interactive as far as the training goes for the pro notary?
So it is going to be videos, and then I'm creating instruction sheets that go along with the videos that you can print and have available to you. And then we'll also probably do, I have to, I'm going to customize this a little bit later as we roll this out, because I never do anything that I plan. I just go by the seat of my pants. We'll do lives that we can go through and do just on the Pro Notary platform, getting things customized, how to tweak it to make it work for your custom situations, right? How do I pivot kind of situations? And, I tell you, everyone, go into your Prime platform and try to break it. I did that yesterday to them. So.
And then my last question, you had said something about a free certificate. So is that like when in Cyberize It, we had the Adobe?
So you get the exemplar, which is your thing you would turn into the state if you needed to. And I know you're Florida, you don't need to, but you get your electronic seal for free, your stamp.
Okay.
But you will need to have your digital certificate purchased.
Okay. So we would need to still get that from IdenTrust or I think just IdenTrust from what you said, right?
Yep, just IdenTrust. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect. And then I do have one final question. Will we already have, or will that be in the future for international sightings?
Well, it's already in there. You just tell
perfect.
your signer they hit skip. And when you get in the session, you want credential analysis with biometrics, and it's a manual. They have to hit skip, but you could skip them right to the front of the line for biometrics.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah,
so I am done.
Yeah. Perfect. All right.
Amy, just FYI, I'm working on something technical in the background. I'm going to take a few minutes. Okay. You can keep pulling the question.
All right, Geneva, go ahead.
Okay, so since I'm already a marketing student and already have my website and just spent my money to be an owner of my website, taking all my money. My question is, do we have to get another website? No.
No, because that you would just go in as the Explorer level. So all that's going to do is put you into the directory and give you access to the additional trainings on the Remote Online Notary Network. You're not going to get any new website and all of that. You're just going to be put into the directory so that you can be found. Because I've already been sending work out through the directory to the notaries that were previously on Online Notaries Public. We just sent one out last night to a notary in Arizona or Kansas. It was Kansas. So there is work coming through on that site already. It's, when they come through to a specific notary. So you get first right of refusal. And then at that point we go and we try to find another notary to take care of the customer, realizing that they need something special. Maybe they need a certain state for an apostille or acceptance by the receiving agency, or if they're have a certain language requirement of the notary, things of that nature. But we did make it to where you can filter and find notaries of that, have that superpower.
And guys, I do want to do the, I still need that 2 to 3 minutes, but I heard this and I wanted to chime in on this. Again, the idea of the Remote Online Notary Network is not for us exclusively to bring you business. It's to teach you self-sufficiency, to bring your own business to your own table. And then if you choose to farm that out and still make money from that. It doesn't matter even if you're in California where they don't allow remote online notary. You can build one of these websites and facilitate all of this. I think about all of the single mothers out there. I know we have a lot of single mothers. We have a lot of people who are very connected to their family. We also have a lot of remote online notaries that have ailments that don't allow them to actually be a mobile notary full time. And I have to tell you, this is where you can get a lot of self-sufficiency to draw in that business from big corporations that are taking it from you and putting it back on your table and deciding how that business gets filtered out either to yourself or to someone else if you're not able to do it. I think this offers a lot of empowerment, especially for my single moms out there who I love that they, are picking up their kids from soccer practice, running to get home so they can do a remote online notary or trying to get back out into the field. This offers them the more ability to schedule when there are, because I actually teach you how to put your calendar up so they can book you when you are actually available. And people connect with you. They connect with your website. They connect with what you're about. So when they're looking through the internet and they find your website, they're able to find you and they choose you. You have a repeat customer, and tried and true. Every customer I have, I always ask, could you refer me to someone else? I make sure to make that question more than a review. Can you store me in your phone as your notary? If anybody asks for a notary, refer me. That's helped me grow my business bigger than anything else is word of mouth. That's never going to go away, by the way, guys, is word of mouth. So the idea behind this is to teach you self-sufficiency and give you the way to fight big tech, because they're going to keep coming for our business, and we need to join together with this knowledge and prevent them from infiltrating the internet. Let them spend all of that amount of money because you guys have already got an expert on your side to teach you how to fight them. And my students are already fighting them. Amy, you can go on to that next question there.
Yep, sorry. All right. Kristen, it's good to see you.
Hey, Amy. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you at the conference and spend some one-on-one time with you, Amy. I just need a little more clarity. I'm sorry if it's been sort of already discussed and just so sign up for the Explorer monthly or annually will allow me to be a facilitator. Is that what I need to? But then does the training come along with that, or I have to be the part of the marketing monthly program to get the training for the Explorer?
The Ron and marketing training comes well, no, hold on. No, it would not come with the training. You would have to be a marketing member to get the training. So if you want, if you want the Ron training and you're in a state, you would want to buy the Pioneer.
Okay, so I'm not in a Ron state, so I would need to be a marketing student and get the Explorer to facilitate Ron.
Truth be told, Kristen, you know me, I don't want to take money when I don't need to. You don't need to have a directory listing on the website because you're going to be marketing on your website from the marketing students. You're going to have that dynamic website. You're going to be pulling your clients that way. You don't need our listing.
Let me clear this up real quick because I want to make sure that we answer this properly. So, Miss Kristen, correct me if I'm wrong. You're not a Notary Star Plus marketing member, correct?
Correct. I'm trying to. I had sent you an email about the Wix situation with my website, so I'm trying to figure out if I need to be a marketing member because I have a Wix platform, but I want to make sure I'm able to follow along, not having the other version. I have Studio and I can't unfortunately transfer it over. I have to start all from scratch and I'm not going to start all over.
Okay, well, here's the thing. So let's just talk about Remote Online Notary Network. If you're looking to sell or facilitate remote online notary from California, because you're in California, correct?
Yeah.
So if you're looking to facilitate that, you already have a Studio plan, so you can change that over because these templates are built on Studio. Unfortunately, if you have an existing website that wasn't built by me, it's not going to have those dynamics installed on it, and it would actually take you longer to kind of train to install those dynamics. The template is actually built with the dynamics built into it, so it makes it very easy for you to just click and customize it to your look, feel, photo, information about your company. And within 17 videos, you could literally just apply your current Wix plan over to the new Studio site. Now, if you have one built on Editor, there is an issue with it.
Yeah, that's what I have. Editor. Yeah, I have Editor.
So if you have an Editor, did you pay annual for that?
Yeah, they didn't give me a choice. They wouldn't let me renew it monthly at all. I had to commit.
Okay. If you let them know, and I've had plenty of students have this problem, if you let them know that, hey, I just discovered Studio, rebuilt my website, they will give you a prorated refund for your annual, and then you can apply that to your Studio when it's ready. As long as they see that they're not losing you as a customer, they will not fight you on that. I've had plenty of people who have editor websites and go, wow, I really want this Studio version and be able to do this. Once they know that they're not losing the customer and you're just shifting your funds to launch that new website, they will give you a prorated refund.
Okay, so if I have Wix editor and I join the marketing, you're telling me it's going to be too hard for me to apply what I'm learning because I really need to be in Studio version? Because I'd hate to
No,
lose
you
my
could apply.
website. I don't want to really lose my website. I'd like to keep it, but I want to be able to access and use your marketing training. But I don't know if being in the editor isn't going to allow me to do what you do with the Studio.
You can do everything that I do on the editor in the Studio, but I'm going to tell you that the difference between editor and Studio is light years of difference in ease. And so you're going to run into, it's kind of like trying to start an old car now with editor.
It's a shame because I really wanted to before I renewed, I wanted to update to the Studio. I'm like, sorry, it's not transferable. You got to start from scratch.
But I have to tell you, 17 challenges, it says 17 days, but you can actually get them done mostly in a weekend. It's not that hard to customize the Studio template. And once you make the leap, you won't regret it.
So you're saying make the leap.
It's a night of sleep.
So you're saying make the leap, ditch my site, and just start over with your template.
I promise you that you will have absolutely no regrets once you see 30,000 pages across America launched into the zip codes. You will just be like, whatever. I don't know why I thought twice.
It's something to think about. It's so hard
for
because
me
when
to
you work.
speak. It's easy for me to speak being on the other side of that and seeing so many, joyous people celebrate that. And it's hard from your perspective when you've already put so much work into a website. So I know that feeling, but if you can just get a taste of being in control and having the biggest, newest version of something for over just 15, challenges of your time before you launch, you will not regret it.
Yeah, and I think at some point, being in the editor, it's going to be obsolete anyhow in the next year or two, and then I'm going to be, pardon my French, shut up the creek anyhow.
And let me tell you something else. All those pages that you bought for landing pages, it's included in that Studio template. So you get to create those hospital and landing pages on your website exactly the way that they're done on emergency notary services and jail notary services. So you get to choose if you service hospitals and jails as well in person, because it works for in-person and remote online. And all those pages that you bought, you can just cancel your memberships as soon as your pages take hold, and you won't have to renew those listings. I mean, I'd love to keep you, but you don't have to keep pouring money into all these different marketing aspects because they're all included in that one template.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for the clarity. But yeah, it's a hard decision. I have to think about that. But yeah, I mean, what you offer, nobody's offering, and it's just amazing what you do for the community. So I just have to decide if I want to do that. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if you need a personal conversation, anybody actually, now I'm only one person and it is Friday and I'm going to dinner with my best friend tonight, but I will get back to anybody who writes me and wants to ask questions about this. I make myself accessible. I do not put myself out here in front of this community and not make personal phone calls. And Kristen, you can tell everybody, if you ever write me, I get you on the phone.
All right. Terry Joe.
Hello. So I got some of my questions answered, but I just want clarification. I'm already with Ronnie with this, I think it's the $69 a month one. And I already got, she just put my website up today. We're still working on it, but it's published. So now I need to join just the $9.99 a month one. Now, what if I want to step down from the $69 one to the $39 one? I mean, you guys have two marketing plans.
So we've had this conversation before, Miss Carrie, and I want to kind of clarify that for everybody. So on the Remote Online Notary Network, there will be limited access to my training. Now, people will be able to access my class, but I do training videos on expanding into other areas. So I also teach on marketing, apostilles, and all of those things. So that's not going to be included on the Remote Online Notary Network. There will be a taste of it, but that $10 difference between Notary Stars is basically, or not $10 difference, it's 30, 49, and then 69. That $20 difference between having the access to the website, you still get all of those tools. However, you lose access to the Notary Star training, any of those updates. So it's really pick and choose your battles there. Not all remote online notaries need that, but if I know for a fact you're going into apostilles as well, I'm definitely building probably one of the at the Notary Star level, building one of the access to one of the most robust apostille tools that I feel is available right now. So your kind of position, I would probably stay at the Explorer level since you're already there and watch that unfold before your eyes, because after the break, there's a lot that's being launched that you might shoot yourself in the foot over. And for those listening that might be thinking the same thing, we're getting the Remote Online Notary Network literally launched today, and I've seen so many people sign up, and my email is just going off crazy. Don't worry if you're also interested in apostilles, you won't be left alone, but the tools might be slightly different. But the very first thing is getting you guys set up on the websites. So Terry, for you, because you got a foot and you've been waiting. You guys don't know, but she's called me 100 times. What is it going to be? When is it coming? And I love it. Right now, I think you're probably perfectly positioned because you're almost done with your website. And I know from our conversation the last week that you are moving toward apostille. I would do the Explorer level for the Remote Online Notary Access, and then wait to see if you get everything from apostille and then make that change. And I only say this specifically to Terry because I know her goals. And so this is your goal. So that $20 difference is going to get you access to tools that you really need for your specific journey.
Thank you. And then my next question is, I just purchased the Explorer one, so it came up with the new dashboard. I need to set up this dashboard. It doesn't automatically connect with my existing one.
No, they're absolutely completely different sites. And this is something I would like to everybody to hear. Remote Online Notary Network is completely disconnected from Notary Stars. Although you have access to myself, you have access to Amy, and partners that we've worked with. Remote Online Notary Network is a fresh new business. It is not in any way entangled to Notary Stars. We don't want it to be a part of Notary Stars. We want it to be for the remote online notaries who are ready for remote online notary business. We want to keep it open to all from all training courses out there. We hope to bring on more people as sort of a board to kind of balance out. We just happen to be the people to bring it to the forefront, but it is completely and utterly separate from the sites, the other types of sites.
Okay. All right. I want to say this really quick. I'm really trying to get all the questions in the chat, and they're valid questions, but if we don't get an answer to you, please email us at help@Remote Online Notary Network. Mind you, I'm getting the chat here and I'm getting messaged on the phone too, and it's all valid for this meeting. So if we skip you, it's not on purpose. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, so my question was for the Pro Notary platform with the white label branding, will we be able to have like other notaries cover for us within our white label branding, or will it I'm just wondering about that option because that would be amazing.
Well, the short answer is technically you could set it up that way, but it's going to come at a cost. So you would have to buy extra seats for those notaries so that they could be part of your team. And then you would pay the $29 for each seat. So it can work as an enterprise level or partnership type situation in that thing, but it's going to come at a cost. And they would probably want to have their own platform white labeled for them too. So then they would have two platforms, not just one.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was wondering. I mean, it'll just basically come down to whether it's worth it to all be there or just say, hey, like this is who I partner with when I'm not available. I'm not
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
put it at you. All right.
If you don't mind me putting my 2 cents on that,
Mhm.
so one of the ways that I've built the site is to be able to show your calendar when you're available. And even the students that are on the site don't know now is we have a personal branding that's coming up for the Wix template in the challenge that
Yeah.
kind of allows customers to connect with you and your business and want to choose you. And as a remote online notary and title and escrow, we always imagine like, oh my God, the world's on fire. We've got to do this now. And that is true for title and escrow. But for most out there, as you're building your clients, you are not going to want to refer too much business away unless you're on vacation and that sort of thing. But they're going to be able to see your calendar, your availability. You'll be able to set that calendar up saying, I need 2 hours notice, I need 1 day notice. And it's only going to show them the available times that you're available. And I've actually taught my students not to engage with customers on the level of almost like, I'm so glad to take your phone call, but you are going to have to book through the website to get into my calendar, and have them book through that, through your booking engine, through the website, which I teach you how to install. You'll be able to kind of control that. Now, when working with other notaries, I personally would not put more notaries under my seat unless they are employees of the company or contracted to be under the company, because you're going to assume the liability. That is fact. I don't want to hide that for someone. So he who holds the license holds the liability. He who charges the customer is going to be the one that they come after if something goes wrong. So you're going to have a lot of trust there. Love you all. Don't trust you all that much. I'm just going to say it. So you are going to want to probably partner with notaries that you trust.
Yeah.
If you bring them in as a license, but that comes into, I've gotten so busy that I no longer can take on new clients. But my goal is to teach you how to basically get in there and have the clients book primarily with you.
Yeah.
Until you are ready. Now, if you're in a state that doesn't allow remote online notary, you could buy that license, white label it for your company, and put in the notaries from other states, and you pay the license for them. And then you could say, you know what, I want one from Florida, one from Virginia, one from Arizona, so I can handle all kinds of transactions, and then build the calendar based on their availability so that your customers, and then just charge a fee for managing that. So there's a lot of options there, and it would be too hard to lay it out on your first day, but we would be there for you to kind of help you set that up if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I was primarily looking for when I am out of town, like you said, or I mean, I'm in Washington, so we still have KBA, and it doesn't sound like biometrics is coming anytime soon. So on the off chance someone fails KBA and doesn't want to try again, in the 24 hours, I kick it out to someone who can use biometrics. So that's kind of my use case. And yeah, I hadn't thought about the liability aspect of it because, I'm not big enough to be thinking about those kinds of things like you are. And that's a good thing to consider. Probably not something I'd be looking to take on yet.
Yeah, I would never, send you into a war without a good arsenal of information there. If you have questions as you grow and build and you're not able to take, or you're going on vacation, we can always work with you to help you cover. And there are notaries I know that cover for each other for vacation all the time. So we might be able to set you up with notaries that we know are going to treat your customers the same way that you would, and would be very happy to cover you for vacation. I can think of one notary right now, very trustworthy, Donna Christie. If I was going on vacation and I needed somebody to cover me, I'd call her in a minute. And we got 100 notaries that way. So being a part of the network, on any membership level, would also give you access to, vetted notaries that we consistently work with, that we could help you out with situations like that.
Perfect. Yeah, I have a couple myself, but it's good to have a few more just in case the need arises.
One can never have too many notary friends.
Exactly. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you.
All right. Edie.
Sorry again. So becoming a member of Remote Online Notary Network basically puts your name out there. I know that I'm going to have to do some transitions from my website to doing something different. Not excited about that, but it is what it is. But do we also need to become a member of Pro Notary to use the platform itself that Notary Stars and Unlimited Ink is going towards? Or is it a different platform?
So you will have to purchase access to the Pro Notary as a secondary purchase, but you don't have to. I mean, if you want to utilize it, you have to do the secondary purchase, but you don't have to use it. If you're in love with the Ron platform you're on, you can totally stay on the one that you're on. And I know what your situation is. So anyway, but I don't want anyone else to think that we're forcing you to switch your Ron platforms. We'll still help you with learning all of the different aspects of online notarization. I don't know how many of y'all know this. I don't even think that Pro Notary knows this, but when I started my platform, the first thing I did is I went to Public Records and I requested the schematics of all the Ron platforms that got approved in a state. I've got all their details in a PDF document of exactly how every Ron platform works. All right. So I started with a blueprint. And so, yeah, I definitely can help with a lot of different software systems.
Okay.
So to definitely, you do not have to join Pro Notary, but we are bringing you it as a special offer.
So joining Remote Online Notary Network brings us into Pro Notary.
No, they're just offering a discounted service rate for notaries that join our platform.
Okay.
Because their typical rate is significantly higher. And so by joining forces, what they're wanting is notaries to come in and be educated and be very valued, and you get the marketing level that we're trying to pull in. So we're collaborating and trying to bring that overall cost down so that you can excel and you can get all aspects and make your business better.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy, I hate to do this, but we are going to have to come to a conclusion for the meeting because we are about an hour, about 30 minutes over for the meeting. So guys, I do want to ask you to turn on your cameras if you can right here at the end, just so we can see your faces. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Now listen, we have an email address for you, okay? It's help@Remote Online Notary Network. Amy, if you want to put that into the chat. Again, that's help@Remote Online Notary Network. If you have questions, okay, keep in mind that 800 people registered for this event today, and we are 2 people making everything happen behind the scenes. Not everything goes perfect right away. We're going to make everything right and perfect. If you have questions that didn't get answered today, please send us an email, help@Remote Online Notary Network. We will go one by one. And in order to get those questions answered over the weekend, I do know that we've had a lot of people sign up today. And I know a lot of people will sign up after. But what I want to say to you guys is that this is not for Amy and myself to make money. Okay. Of course, there is a charge for products and tools and services that we are providing, and that helps us keep the site going. But what I want you to know is that the money that you invest into this platform is going to go back into investing into all of our futures as remote online notaries. I will tell you that I personally have already put my own funds in going to the largest conference in the United States for the American Land and Title, where every single title company and president is going to be, and I will be there. This is something that a lot of notaries can't afford on their own accord to go to conferences like these. And last year, I stopped branding going to conferences as Unlimited Ink. To be honest, I could care less if we get one more client. I've made my money as a notary. I've made my money doing that. I've always reinvested in Notary Stars. But I've started going to conferences, and into terms of speaking as an educator, I'm putting anything that we make back toward this community the most that we can so that we can grow and do our businesses. But the idea mostly, guys, is to put the tools in your hands so that you don't even need me or Amy in the future. Okay. You're not paying money to have us hold your hand. We don't want $49.95 for the rest of your life. We want it. We want to put the control in your hand. We want people to stop paying for things like Go High Level when somebody's taking your client information and it's ran by the biggest signing services in the company, and you just pay $97 a month and you get all these emails and whistles. Learn to do that with your own website for a lower cost and take control and own it. That is what this is all about. We want to fight big tech. We want to fight people taking our clients and our business. We want to own our customer information, and we want to be able to compete with the big tech and the minds that call themselves the greatest minds. You guys have the greatest minds. You are business owners. You are people who deserve to own your customers, to have your future right in the palm of your hand, right in front of you, and no one else have a finger on that. Okay, so that is what this is about. And I'm looking forward to working with every single one of you. I can't wait for my first class that you guys are all in. For those of you who have never been to a class with me, I can't wait to see you start watching those challenges on customizing your websites. And I can't wait for your questions at 2 o'clock in the morning when we're trying to figure out that one little challenge that you had problems with. Because there's a lot of people here today that will tell you at 2 o'clock in the morning, if you email me and I'm up, I'm going to call you back. So make sure you're not in bed with your spouse when you send that email, because I've had a lot of people go, oh, my wife's asleep or my husband's asleep. Why are you calling? If you send me an email and you need help, you're going to get that help. I'm going to share the splash screen again today as we go out, but I'm going to ask if everybody could turn on their cameras and let's just give a signature wave. Wave to all those remote online notaries out there. Wave to those who are going to discover remote online notary tomorrow. Wave to yourself if you come back and watch the replay and say, I was there. I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday afternoon. And thank you so much for joining us.
And remember to email us if we didn't get to your question, help@remoteonlinenotarynetwork.com.